Beer break. What happened to my mic? Was it off the whole time? Are you kidding me? How did it go off? I got to keep an eye. You know what it was? It was the bee. The bee got me. Wow, I was sitting there. That was a good rant too, but I'm not going to do it again. I was going to just that's just going to be for the archives. Uh, Andrew already said it. How long he goes before he realized it? It would have been a long time, I got to say. I'm sitting in the backyard, and the way the mic is situated, you guys can see it. You guys can see the green right here, and if it's red, how about a little fucking heads up, huh? How about a little help? You know, like teammates will help, little help. You know, ball goes rolling across the street, little help. I hate to think my audience, the type of audience, is going to keep the ball or like hide the ball underneath the car. See the ball? No, no, didn't see anything. Not sure what you're talking about. Ball? What ball? No. Like, help a brother out, okay? You know, we got the mic red. You know, you did tell me. I was wondering why the beer break was coming on. I'm like, I'm not going on a beer break. What are you talking about? Not that I'm opposed to Monday 2 o'clock going on a beer break, but not going to happen. I'm good. I got my lemonade. Is what I got. So, by the way, are you a cubed ice person? Well, my son said he was screaming from the rooftop. Too bad you live a mile away, Walker. I couldn't hear you. I mean, I did like a good 2 minutes on bees. It was, yeah. It was epic, epic bee talk. So you a crushed ice person or a cubed ice person? I've like transitioned. I used to be a crushed ice person, and now I don't know why, but now I'm a cubed ice person. And it has nothing to do with like Ice Cube or I'm a cubed ice person. I don't know why, but crushed ice because I like eating ice. I'm a big fan of not wasting the ice, so I'm gonna eat the ice. And I don't know, maybe it's because I got less of my real teeth. I don't mind chewing crushed or cubed ice. Doesn't feel as cold, doesn't hurt as much. But again, the crushed ice was easier to chew than the cubed ice. But I don't know. I just looked at my glass and I noticed that I got a bunch of cubed ice in there that I will finish at some point. Um, so the finals yesterday. Look, Oklahoma City was the best team all year long. Best defense by a mile all year long. They had a 12-6, I want to say, net rating, historic net rating. I mean, they were incredible. They were the best team all year long. and deserve to win the NBA championship. Absolutely. Also, as Ralph always says, two things can be equally true. It sucked that Tyrese Halliburton went out. We didn't get a chance to watch Indiana fight the battle with all their troops. I mean, that's all you want, is to see both teams healthy, both teams competing, both teams get after it, and then whoever wins at that point. And it was just a bummer to see him go out because we didn't get to see Indiana at their best. Could they have won that game? Sure, they could have won that game. I mean, I've seen many teams win games missing their star player for the entirety of a game, and he looked like he was going to be on one too. He had his first 3 threes, I think, ended up 3 for 4 from 3. It looked like it might have been one of those special type games, where you scored 30 points, have 14 assists. It just wasn't meant to be. Very similar to the Durant injury against the Raptors, where it's a calf injury, turns into, I heard it was an Achilles. I shouldn't say it's an Achilles. I thought I read that. Maybe I didn't. I should have verified that before I said that. But that's what Durant's was. Durant's was a calf that turned into an Achilles. But whatever it is, it wasn't good. There it is, right there. So, yeah, it was the same thing. Calf injury that turned into an Achilles injury, and he'll probably miss. Well, he's going to miss the better part of next year. Will he miss the entirety of next year? Don't know. But it just, and they had a 1-point lead at half. All they had to do was outscore him for a half. 24 minutes. That's it. So they could have done it. They had the talent to do it. They still have a really good team. It's not just about Halliburton. TJ McConnell was balling in this series. That little dude's getting it done out there. He's just a bulldog. He just will not take no for an answer. Siakam certainly carried his weight. Nembhard was kind of, hit or miss offensively, but defensively got after it. So they had some guys. that could have got it done for a half, but the second half started out. They forced 3 misses, and Oklahoma City got 3 buckets. First time they missed, offensive rebound. No, they couldn't. Neesmith couldn't corral the rebound. Oklahoma City got it again, missed again. Holmgren, offensive rebound, bucket. Next one, offensive rebound by Dort. Then Dort circles back around to the top of the key, chucks one up with like 2 seconds, 1 second left on the clock, about a 28, 30-footer bucket. Next time, Caruso, missed layup, gets his own rebound, bucket. So they just couldn't get defensive rebounds. And then the turnover fest started. And that's where Tyrese Halliburton, his value was really missed. He doesn't turn the ball over. He is very good at not turning the ball over. As good as TJ McConnell was last night, he had 7 turnovers. I think they had 21 turnovers minimum. I didn't see the final box. 21 as a team. And Oklahoma City had 32 points off turnovers. Now, again, those are a little goofy. I'm not sure exactly how they give you the points off turnovers. Like if you turn it over, you throw the ball out of bounds, that's a turnover. If you come down, run a play for 20 seconds to get a bucket, is that a point off turnover or no? I don't know. To me, it should be directly off turnover. Steal, layup, steal, jumper, steal, bucket should be points off turnovers. But however they decide they want to go about assigning those, they had 32. Here's the big, and this is the biggest stat in the NBA that doesn't get talked about enough, is field goal attempts. Field goal attempts to me is the biggest stat in the game. I mean, you hit more shots or you shoot more shots, you're going to have a better chance to win the game, even if you don't shoot as high a percentage. I want to say the Pacers shot a little bit better than, it was 41% to 40%. So the Pacers actually outshot the Thunder last night. The Thunder had 17 more shots. 17 more shots, offensive rebounds, turnovers. And really it was turnovers. Third quarter, that was vintage Thunder basketball, that third quarter. Turn you over, get to the rim, bucket. And Indiana just didn't have, without Halliburton, they didn't have the offensive firepower. More importantly, they didn't have someone to stabilize everything. Just, okay, deep breath, settle down. Let's get into our stuff. Make sure we get a shot. We didn't have that guy. And it was turnover after turnover after turnover. A couple of times McConnell got caught. And I hate when teams do this. I hate when teams come and set a pick and roll as you cross half court in the left or right hand corners. It's so easy to double team there. And you're bringing an extra defender into the equation. It's like the worst, the absolute worst. You should not bring someone over to set a screen until they get out of the corner. If you're in the corner, you're screwed. Because if I'm guarding, let's say I'm guarding Miles Turner and he comes set a pick and roll, I just jump him, get big, I think that's what you're supposed to do against a bear. Or no, that's a cougar. I think that's a cougar. I think cougar you're supposed to get big. And bear you're supposed to play dead. Yeah, because cougar you're supposed to get big. Either or. You're probably screwed either way. You're gonna end up as dinner or lunch, depending on what time of the day it is. But they just get big. You can't see over the other center, and you got nowhere to move. You got out of bounds to the left of you, back court behind you, and then two players right in your face. What? So there's certain things I just look at and go, what are we doing here? Why are we coming to set a screen roll right in the top corner of the court? Why are we doing that? So anyway, and then they just had some bad passes, got sped up a little bit, and then once that thing got rolling downhill, they couldn't stop it. Again, that's where Tyrese Halliburton's true value comes into play. He can organize stuff. He can settle things down a little bit. And just a bummer to see, all the work that he put into it. I love the fact that he was game. He gave it an effort. He wanted to get out there and play and give it a shot, much like Durant did. And just like Durant did, paid the price. I don't think they regret it, though. I don't know. But I think in that situation, and he played game 6 with a sore calf, too. I think if you feel like, hey, I got through game 6, I can get through game 7, and then we'll worry about rehab after the season. All I got to do is make it through one more game. Problem was when he caught it, he tried to push off immediately. And he tried to push off on that leg, and golly. You remember that Durant shot they had where it just looked like a rubber band that went, woo? This one just like a little mini bomb went off in his calves, like poof. It was just filthy. So you feel bad for him just because of everything you put into it, that you can't compete, you can't be out there with your teammates. But that's sports. That's what it is. There are no asterisks. Not that anybody's talking about it, but there's no, they would have if. They would have been who cares? I hate those discussions. People said the Warriors wouldn't have lost a 3-1 lead if Draymond didn't get suspended. He did. There may be some people out there that said the Cavaliers would have beaten the Warriors if Love and Kyrie would have been healthy the first time they played. They weren't. Who cares? Who cares what we think? We know what happened. And this is part of sports. Injuries are part of sports. And why are guys getting hurt more often now? I don't know. My best guess is the game, there's a lot more ground to cover in the game nowadays. There's a lot more ground to cover. Everyone shoots with range now. And you got to run from side to side, up, back. I mean, you got to move. When I played, we played more in a box. And it wasn't like, it wasn't just in the paint, but there were a lot fewer guys that were stretching you out to the 3-point line. So you didn't have to run and chase those guys. It was played inside probably 18 feet. And then you had a few guys here or there that were shooting threes that you had to get out to. But guys can get them off so quick now. They can handle and get into them. It's just a totally different game. So it's just a shame that he had to go down. But look, it take nothing away from the Thunder. They were great. Youngest team to ever win a championship. They got their superstar in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, got him with an incredible trade. May go down as one of the greatest trades in the history of the NBA with the LA Clippers. Not only did they get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Paul George, that is a win in and unto itself. Then they got a ton of picks to go along with it. I mean, you want to talk about a win-win. I mean, that's the win that keeps on giving. It's just incredible, the bounty that came from that one trade. So you get Holmgren drafted number 2. I want to say Dort was in the 20s somewhere. Wallace was in the teens. Williams was in the, I want to say Williams was in the teens. You go out and get signed 2. Just a great job this year going out and getting Caruso. That was a trade for Giddey, and then Hartenstein as a free agent. I mean, just a masterfully done job of putting a team together and figuring out how the components fit together. They're so deep. They're so versatile. They're not the greatest offensive team. Like, they can go into some shooting slumps, but they're so good defensively. They get out in transition. It's always going to give them a shot. And I don't see them going anywhere for a while. Here's the problem. How do you keep all those guys? Ideally, you'd like to keep Shea as a given. Holmgren's a given. And do you keep Williams? He's the guy. Are you going to be able to keep Williams? I know they'd love to, because that's like your 3-headed monster that you want. The Warriors had Clay, Steph, and Draymond when they were winning their championships. This is what I think this is what they would like moving forward. Can you keep all those guys? Not sure. But that's something the NBA is going to have to. I don't know if they ever will. And I know we don't want dynasties anymore. I don't know why not. Were the Warriors not fun? Were the Lakers not fun? Whether you liked them or hated them? Were the Celtics not fun? Whether you liked them or hated them? Were the Bulls not fun? Whether you liked them or hated them? Were the Spurs? I don't know that anybody liked or hated the Spurs, to be honest with you. They're like, Spurs. I mean, they gave them their respect, right? Tim Duncan's one of the greatest players of all time that never gets mentioned when you talk like top 10, whatever players of all time. Tim Duncan's one of those dudes. He was great. Great. And, but that was, San Antonio. Isn't that exciting about San Antonio? But I always think dynasties are good for the sport, because either you love the team or you hate the team. Either you get to root against them or root for them. And I know they don't want that anymore, but so you trade for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, great trade. And you draft Holmgren, you draft Williams, you draft Dort, you draft Wallace. I don't know if you guys can hear those crows. They're not happy right now. Oh, what's going on with those crows right now? Okay, they're shut up. You're going to have to make a choice now. Like, shouldn't that be the goal of each team, to draft and develop? Draft a great team, develop a great team, keep them together. Like, to me, there should be some way to navigate the salary cap when they're your own guys. Like, I'm not talking about all kinds of free agents. You want to go out and sign free agents? Those should hit different. Those should count against the cap different. But if I do what I'm supposed to do, which every team would love to do, draft, develop, I do it well, and now I get penalized for it. So that I don't get. That I don't get. But they'll have to decide who they want to keep. But they're going to be good for a while. They're going to be good for a while because their backbone is defense. They're a defensive team. And defense travels, obviously. Length travels. Depth travels. And they have all those things. Who knows what the depth is, if it's going to take a hit in the next few years. But defense, and I think Dagno's a really good coach. So I mean, they're set up to be in this thing for a while now. And the West is going to be a monster again next year. KD going to Houston, I think that's a great trade for Houston. And I don't think they had to give up that much. I got to be honest with you. What was it? 10th pick, Jalen Green, Brooks in 5 seconds? Like, I'm not a Jalen Green guy. I think he's one of these, those ignite guys that played in the G League for that Ignite team, and it just seems like the Ignite guys, and Kuminga's one of them too. Like, ultra athletic, really good moments. You can tell they can play, but they don't know how to play. They're just not sure how to play, and they could have used a year or two more of somebody teaching them how to play basketball. Like, how do you play ball? Like, fundamental stuff, just stuff that college coaches teach you, stuff that Lute taught me, stuff that Lute taught Steve and Sean Elliott and all those, and all the great coaches. Coach K taught his guys that. So when you have a coach of that caliber, you're going to learn things in college. You're going to be able to use those in the NBA. These guys don't have that. They don't have that. And you can tell. You absolutely could tell. There are definite similarities between Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga. Absolutely. Super athletic. Wow moments. Can have monster games. And sometimes, a lot of times, you'll watch them and go, I'm not sure they know what they're doing out there. I'm not sure if they know. I don't know if they know what they're doing. So, but here's the reason I don't think Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks are going to be there for long. How many guards and wings do you need? Booker, Beal, Green, Brooks. I mean, geez. So it wouldn't surprise me if they flipped them to someone else who maybe specifically needed, they're like close to a championship or playoffs or whatever, and they're like, hey, we need one more guy, just kind of a wing defensive disruptor, stopper. And Dillon Brooks isn't quite the defender he was, 4 years ago or so, but he's still pretty good. And he's an agitator, and there's a place for that. And then Jalen Green's going to be one of those guys that if I'm a GM or I'm a coach, I'm like, I can get it out of him. I can get it out of him. And same thing's going to happen for Kuminga if the Warriors don't retain him. There's going to be a team out there that wants him and says, I can unlock him. I can make him the player that he needs to be and he should be. So I think it's a great trade for Houston. And we'll put up the odds in a little bit. But so you have Houston, who maybe, I mean, they were the 2 seed this year without Durant, without any shooting. That's the one thing they lacked this year, was shooting. Well, they got one of the best shooters in league history now. He has never shot under 50% for his season in his career. Ever. That guy is a flat sniper. I made this statement a few years ago. I think he's the most versatile offensive weapon in the history of the NBA. And I know that's saying a lot. I didn't say the best offensive weapon. I said the most versatile offensive weapon. You can post him. He shoots with range, mid-range. He can shoot off the dribble. He can score with his back to the basket. He can face you up. I mean, he is almost an automatic good shot waiting to happen. Now, you don't get the ball to Kevin Durant and come up with shitty shots. It very rarely happens. We're like, oh, that was a bad shot. When KD shoots it, it looks like a good shot. It's like, oh, that's going in. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. But you're thinking that's going in. So Houston's going to be set. They're going to be good. San Antonio's coming. Depending on, I don't know if they're going to get this Harper kid, who I don't know much about, out of Rutgers, but I know he's a guard. And I know they already have Castle and already have Fox. But when you're drafting 2, you draft the best player available, period. And especially if you think there's a significant gap between 2 and 3, I don't care if you have a point guard and he is a point guard. You figure out a way to make it work. Or it's an asset that you can move along later. Fingers crossed that Wemby is going to be back next year, because you want to talk about worth the price of admission. That guy's fun to watch play. So they're going to be better next year, no doubt. Lakers should be at least as good. They were the 3 seed. The Nuggets, they got to bolster that bench. I have to imagine they're going to bolster the bench. Now they have the kid, I want to say from Dayton last year, the big kid. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. That'll help with some depth if he can play. Warriors, to Memphis. We'll see what Memphis has after losing Bane, but they get a couple of decent rotational players in return in Anthony and KCP. So again, I mean Mavericks with Cooper Flag. Kyrie will be out though, I think most of next year. So here's the interesting part though. So the Pacers, you want to talk about your game 7, you're hyped. It's going to be the greatest moment of your career. It's going to be to like a total downer with Halliburton getting hurt and then losing, seeing the tears in their eyes, and just bummer. And then you realize, oh, damn, he's going to be out next year too, or most of next year. So you factor that in. You're like, that last night was a triple shot of misery, just right to the nuts, just bam, bam, bam. It's like somebody used your nuts as a speed bag. Pow. And that last one was Tyrese Halliburton being out all of next year for the most part, I would imagine. So you lose Halliburton, you lose the game, you lose him for next year. So I started thinking about this when I was out walking today. So where does that leave the East? Who are your contenders? Cleveland, number 1 seed this year. They should be back. Indiana knocked them off this year. Okay, so Cleveland's back. Boston, Tatum's out. Tatum's out for the year, or close to it. They said he might be back around playoff time. Okay. Pacers, they just made it to the final. Halliburton's out. Okay. What if Milwaukee does something kind of, good free agency? Damian Lillard's out. So you have 3 teams, 3 guys. And aren't they all the same injuries? Yeah, they're all right there. It's all the same injuries. The Achilles, man. Achilles, nobody used to blow Achilles out. And again, I think that's having to push off and move. Like, go. I mean, you're constantly moving in the NBA nowadays. You're constantly moving. Well, there you go. I just said, I think it's because they have to cover more ground, Steve. I think you have to, you never had to cover from sideline to sideline or fire out to a 3-point shooter like you do today. You just didn't. It was easier. And again, there may be a few guys you had to fire out to, but now you watch the ground, all these guys have to cover. And when you watch Halliburton get hurt last night, right? You watched him push off. So he's on the ball of his feet, and then he rolls that up and pushes off the front of his foot. You do that more often now because you're at a standstill. You're in a defensive position, and the shooter's out here. And so you see a shooter, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm going to push up. I got to push up. So I think the ground to cover, that may have nothing to do with it. But that's the best I can come up with, is that because that never used to happen when I was playing. I mean, obviously it's not never, but it didn't happen a lot. And now we get 3 in the postseason. And all these guys are pretty high usage guys too. So that may have something to do with it. I don't know though. It is wild. But I know one thing. If I'm Cleveland, if I'm New York, if I'm Orlando, already added Bane. So they're going to be in the mix next year because they needed shooting. They got shooting. Bane can shoot. Bane's a baller. I like Bane. He's tough, physical, gets after you defensively. With Banchero and Wagner, they got the front court covered. They're good there. But if I'm Cleveland, man, I might even try to add somebody else. I mean, they're going to be loaded. They're going to be good again. I might even give myself a better chance to come out of the East. Because how many times are you going to get an East like this where 2 of the top 4 teams, and I would think Indiana would be one of the top 4 teams, although if everybody were healthy, who do you have? You have Boston, Cleveland, Knicks. I would say Pacers. I mean, I would put the Pacers in there unless I'm missing anybody. I don't think I am. But if those are your top 4 teams, 2 of them are dinged, and 2 of them probably aren't going to make it as far as you thought they were going to make it next year because of injury. And so, but we'll see what happens. We got the draft coming up. Probably won't get into that a lot. I'll touch on it a little bit. I mean, like I said, I don't follow college hoops that much. I saw a little bit of Dylan Harper, a little bit of Ace Bailey, quite a bit of Cooper Flag. I did see quite a bit of him. My man Carter from Arizona. There are some guys that I saw a little bit of. And let's face it, the Warriors aren't drafted, so at least not as of yet. I think they got a second round pick. But so we'll talk about that a little bit. So here's something for you. Giants take 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox this weekend. And I talked a little bit about this when I was doing the IG live. I think maybe I gave the Giants a little bit. I didn't give them enough credit in having I always said they had sprinkles, not ice cream. Although because it's Devers, I think I'm gonna stop using ice cream. Although maybe I'll use it more. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe steak. But the main meal, right? You have the main meal. Now they have some in the middle of the order. I think they have. I think Elliot Ramos is starting to solidify himself as a middle of the order guy. Like he's a guy. He's a guy. So if you have him and Devers, you have 2 guys now. And who knows? Schmidt, it's got to get a look at second base, doesn't he? When Chapman comes back, he keeps swinging the bat like this. I mean, they need all the help they can get hitting. And if he's not gonna keep hitting this well. I get it, but if he can hit the ball at least similar to this, anywhere close to where he's at now, he's my second baseman. Period. It's over. I'll go Chapman, Adames, and Schmidt. Move on. Whether we want to go Devers or Flores or whatever. Be nice if Lee could start hitting again. But Ramos is a dude. You look at the numbers right there. I think the OPS is right around 850. But he's on pace for 90 RBIs, close to 30 home runs, batting 285. So he's been really good this year. So I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but I'm getting pretty close to saying, you know what? Ramos is a dude too. Because remember, he was supposed to be a dude, and then he wasn't a dude, and then he was kind of a dude, then wasn't a dude again, and then not a dude, and now he's a dude. And so, anyway, I like where they're at right now. I like the fact that Devers got the home run out of the way now. He didn't have a great weekend. Only a couple hits. I think Ramos, by the way, was 5 for 13 with a home run and 5 RBIs this weekend. So he had a really good weekend against the Red Sox. So 10 games over 500. And they're in good position. I didn't think they'd be this close to the Dodgers. Speaks to how well the Giants are playing. Speaks to how the Dodgers are playing. I thought Dodgers would probably have more wins than they have right now. But, all the injuries, you still look at the Dodgers and go, damn, how do they have this many injuries and that many wins? So what's up, Bun? Bun coming to chill? Bunny likes she's not big into hoops, but she does like baseball. She will get down with a little baseball talk. So here's the question I have for you. Obviously, most of you that listen to this are Giants fans. Get that. And Giants-Dodgers is a huge rivalry. And it's been going on for, 80, 90, maybe even 100 years. I'm not sure when I don't know when the first game was back in New York. But it's a long-standing rivalry. Like, you talk about rivalries, there's 3 in Major League Baseball that have kind of withstood the test of time. Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, Cardinals, Dodgers, Giants. So that one's always going to be there just because of the New York connection, both moving out to California. It just is. It's always going to be there. But right now, isn't the Padre-Dodger rivalry much better than the Giant-Dodger rivalry? I find it a lot more intense. It's a lot more evenly matched. There's a lot more stars. Although now with Devers, if you want to call Devers a star, Fernando Tatis, Machado, Jackson Merrill or Merrill Jackson, you choose. I always I never get his name right. I never. If I were to guess, I will go. I think it's Merrill Jackson, but I don't know. I mean, pick a lane. Just give me one. Give me one line, like one, like real first name and one real last. Don't do the double like Jim Todd. Like stop, okay? Or Jackson Tolbert. Like I don't need two last names either. Just try to make it easy on us. Fucking parents. They're screwing around. Oh, this will screw people up. Let's go with this one. There we go, Jackson Merrill. Yeah, I did. Did I get it right? I don't know. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. That's like money laundering. It's going to go right through me, and I'm going to forget next time too. Jackson Merrill. How do I get? I need like a one of those. What do they call them? Mnemonic. I need something to help me remember Jackson Merrill. JM. I don't know. Now I'm going to remember because I keep saying I'm going to forget. But it's like this past weekend, we had some beanball wars going on down at Chavez Ravine. That was good stuff. Like those two teams were getting after one another. What, Tatis get hit 3 times? Ohtani got hit a couple of times. Dudes were getting plunked right and left. You had the benches cleared. Of course, nothing happened. Shilton and Roberts were going at it. They were yelling at each other. And I don't know if any of the Dodgers pitchers were trying to hit the Padres. Although the last time they hit Tatis was like, I don't even give a shit if you're trying to hit me on purpose. I'm tired of getting hit. I'm just tired. Okay. And you see his point, right? You see his point. Like, I'm tired of getting hit. And the Padres, who have the little brother inferiority complex that the Angels have, that to some extent the Giants have, it just is what it is. But it's probably even worse for the Padres and Angels. Certainly the Angels and the Padres, because they're, SoCal, and it's all about the Dodgers. So they probably have a little bit of that every time they play the Dodgers anyway. Like, F these guys. We're tired of these guys. And another thing I think that makes it the best rivalry going right now is they've met in the playoffs a couple of times the last few years. Padres took them down a few years ago. Dodgers took them down last year, which I did not think would happen. Their pitching was in tatters last year, and I thought the Padres had them. Padres didn't have them, and ended up losing that series. Dodgers on their way to a World Series victory over the Yankees. But right now, like, to me, and again, you're Giants fans, you may see it differently because you're always going to love the Giants-Dodgers rivalry, and it's a good one. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not a good rivalry. It's a fun rivalry. You go back to 2021, that was one of the best pennant races, maybe the best pennant race, this best single pennant race I've ever seen. Dodgers-Giants. Both teams killing it, both teams winning, and then meeting in the playoffs. I was there for Game 5. That check swing was brutal. Anyway, I want to live in the past. But it was, I mean, the electricity in that building. Like, I think at its best, Giants Dodgers is going to be better than Dodgers Padres. It just is. Period. It's not SoCal, it's NoCal, SoCal, and it's got the years behind it. But, if it's not at its best and the Padres are rolling and spending money and got some stars, and they're both right there, about 90 miles apart. Yeah, that's going to be good stuff. And then you get hit. Dudes are getting dinged out there. I love it. I'm in. You can Dodgers Padres play. I'm in for those games. It used to be like the Red Sox and the Yankees back in the early 2000s. If you're a baseball fan, you didn't watch those games. You weren't a baseball fan. I mean, that was just star after star after star after star after star after star after star. And not only that, they're in the same division. A lot of times they had the two best records in the league, and they'd meet in the ALCS to go to the World Series. I mean, that was about as intense as it got. And then those fan bases can't stand one another, so that's as good as it gets. But the Padres Dodgers it's really really good. Like I just again, you can count me, you sign me up for all of those, and now maybe with Devers, and like the one guy I want to see play when it's Dodgers Giants is Webb. Like Webb's the one guy who is like, okay, I want to see this guy be on the mound against the Dodgers because he's from Northern California, grew up in the Giant system, and he's just he gets into this stuff. Anyway, what was the other stuff? Show the odds. I want to show the odds to everybody. Kind of show everybody where the Warriors are at. Can you make it a little bigger so I can see it? You know what? Don't make it bigger. You can make it bigger if you want to. I got it on my phone right here. Oklahoma City 12-5, Rockets 15-2. So that's a little over 7-1, 7.5-1. Cavs 8-1, Knicks 8-1, Magic 12-1. Well, that's a little pricey for the Magic. Like I'd need closer to 20-1 for the Magic. Like I like their team, and I know they got Desmond Bain and all that, but geez, no thanks. Lakers 14-1. It didn't seem like great odds either. Minnesota 14-1, Celtics 16-1. Now that one's interesting because if Tatum does come back for the playoffs, because they can still make the playoffs with how deep they are, and then Tatum does come back, 16-1 may not be bad. Nuggets 16-1, Pacers 16-1. Spurs are higher than the Warriors. Spurs 20-1, Warriors 22-1. And then you start getting down to the Clippers, Mavericks, 33-40. Trust the process, 40-1. How's that process working out in Philly? Anybody know? Everybody know how the Sam Hinkie process is working out? Not great. 40-1 seems like, I mean, they still have Maxey. Still have George. Did George get hurt? Who got hurt? Maybe George got hurt. He's always hurt. You still got Embiid. Boy, that's like no faith. None. I mean, you got three really good players. You got a dominant player in Embiid, if he ever looked like he wanted to play. And then you got the third overall pick. Who knows how good that guy could be. But the Warriors 22-1 sounds about right, but I wouldn't mind taking a shot with them. Because the one thing I know with the Warriors is the Warriors are always going to be on the lookout to make themselves better. They're always going to be in the deal flow. Like if there's a free agent out there, it's a big name, they're going to be in on him. If there's somebody out there that wants out of their current program, they're going to be in on him. Like that's just who the Warriors are. So that 22-1 could turn into 10-1 in a heartbeat, depending on who they get in free agency or via trade. If the team is what they were this year and that's it, that sounds about right. 22-1. 22-1 sounds about right. But we'll see. Obviously, they need size. They need some help at center. I like what I saw from Quentin Post last year, but, other teams are going to be like, okay, you're going to play him 20 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game. He's a stretch five. We're going to start trying to take advantage of him on the defensive end and really exploit him on the defensive end. And then they'll just switch everything with him too, because he's not a guy that can put the ball on the ground yet. He's not a guy that scores around the rim yet. He is strictly a catch and shoot guy. And he's got a whole summer to work on that, get better at that and add a little something to his game. But that sounds right, because we don't know how, Steph and Draymond are going to be next year. And they are going to get older at some point, I'm assuming. I mean, Draymond showed his age a little bit this year, but he was still really good. Steph showed his age a little bit, but he was still pretty dominant player. And then Butler's not young either, but he's always in phenomenal shape. So, I kind of like where they're at next year. It's, you can just give yourself a crack at it. And again, with the Warriors, never think what you see during the offseason, roster wise, is going to be what they go into camp with, or maybe even more importantly, what they leave the trading deadline with. That is not who they are. That's not how they run things over there. Joe Lacob is not a guy that sits back and says, well, we'll just see a couple years off and get our draft picks. And I'm sorry. Joe's the type of guy, he wins a championship like 2 days later. He's like, all right, how do we get better next year? I mean, I guess that's how you have to be. It's kind of a sickness to me. I don't know how much you're enjoying what you're doing. You enjoy it for 24 hours and back at it. Like, now we're good. Hey, congratulations on your championship you just won 8 hours ago. Yeah, that was last year. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, we're on to next year. Really? You still got a half a glass champagne. Done. Let's move on to next year, see what's happening. So I don't mind. The 22-1 sounds about right to me. Again, the teams that I would not wager at those odds, I wouldn't wager the Magic at those odds. I wouldn't wager the Lakers at those odds. I might take a stab at the Celtics at 16-1, just because if they play halfway decent and they win some games and Tatum comes back, they'll be they're not going to be 16-1 going into the playoffs. I'll tell you that right now. If Tatum comes back for let's say the last couple of weeks of the season, they're probably like 7-1. So you get good value for your money. And I would say the Sixers at 40-1, just because of the talent they have. But there's nothing about Joel Embiid that makes me think he's ready to win a championship. He can be such a dominant player, but he just doesn't seem like. Can you see Joel Embiid hoisting a trophy over his head? I can't. Maybe it could. Maybe, I mean, possibility, but I don't see that. Travis Hunter signed his contract today. And again, there's not a lot of negotiating when it comes to rookie contracts. Well, unless you're the fucking Bengals. Then you decide, you know what? Nah, we're gonna screw this up somehow. I believe there's two guys, Shamar Stewart for the Bengals and Eddie Barron, defensive back from Alabama that got drafted by the Broncos, that are unsigned. So Travis Hunter signs. I think it was like $45 million, 30 guaranteed. The only note was that he got the entire 30 million up front, which generally doesn't happen unless you're a quarterback. What does that mean? I don't know. It means he's looking at his checking account today going, fuck yeah. Let's go fishing. Let's celebrate. Travis Hunter seems like one of those dudes. Let's go celebrate. Let's go fishing. Rods are on me. Let's go. Let's go to the Bass Pro Shop. Have you ever been to a Bass Pro Shop? Never been. I heard they're massive. They're like almost like fishing amusement parks. And so I've never been. I probably won't go. I'm not in the market for camo hats and largemouth bass lures. Yeah, there it is right there. So 30.57 up front. So he's good to go. I can't wait to watch him. He's going to be one of the biggest storylines next year. Usually it's all the quarterbacks, and it still is going to be the quarterbacks. But who doesn't want to watch to see if this guy can play defensive back and wide receiver, right? It's like Ohtani doing what Ohtani does, except only when Ohtani pitches and hits in the same game. It's like hitting and pitching every game. I guess every game you would play, although the NFL only plays once a week, but you get the point. Got to be honest, I'm not sure I get the point. Maybe you don't get the point. I'm not sure I had a point. Seemed like I did. Maybe I didn't. I'm not sure. But can he play? How much does he play? What's worth more, a wide receiver or a corner? I guess it depends on what your roster says, right? What does your roster say? Do you have another wide receiver? Do you have 2 more wide receivers? How is your defensive backfield? Like, to me, if you're a lockdown corner, that's more important than a number 1 receiver because there are more receivers out there than there are corners. But I can't wait to watch him play. I mean, it's a reason to watch Jaguar football. It's a reason to watch Jaguar football. And speaking of Jaguar football, when Bergie and I were talking about quarterbacks last week, we totally went over Trevor Lawrence and Bryce Young. As like, oh damn, we did, didn't we? All right, let's put him in category 3, just for the heck of it. We'll just move over. I mean, Trevor Lawrence does have category 1 hair, though. There's no doubt about that. That hair is really nice. Really nice. My son doesn't think he's much of a leader. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, he just doesn't win. He goes, win some games. Like, win some tough games. Like, get it done. I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, I get it. Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the guy drafted 1 overall out of Clemson, big arm. He looks the part, right? Athletic. Like, he looks the part. But it's not just him, right? You have Urban Meyer. Good Lord. That'll set you back a little bit, having Urban Meyer. And that's not going to help. So I still think there's a chance he could be really good, but we'll see. And then Young, everybody was ready to discard him about halfway through last year. It's like, whoa, when did Bryce Young from Alabama come back? Where'd he come from? He hasn't been around here in a long time. So I'm excited. I'm kind of excited to see him this year. Little dude, man. If you watch any Panther games, which you shouldn't, but if you do, that dude looks like he's going to get broken in half every time he drops back. You're just like, oh, God, get down. Oh, God, run, go, slide, go, get down. What are you doing? He's tiny. But, man, that offense was moving last year. It's about time they started covering some games. They were killing me for about a year. Man, it's about time. Get after it. Let's cover some games for me. So we'll see how he is. And I mean, look, quarterbacks are always the big story, right? Especially rookie quarterbacks. Everybody wants to see how the rookie quarterback's going to do. But to turn in and watch Jaguar games just to see if someone, right, can play corner and wide receiver, even though we're not going to be able to watch. You don't even watch cornerback on TV, like, because it's going to be out of the screen. So, but wide receiver, corner, I'm in. I mean, it won't be as fun as watching Ohtani hit and pitch because he's on the screen when he's hitting, on the screen when he's pitching. He pitched this weekend too against the Nationals. Another one inning stint. Had a 3-run triple, 2-run homer. I mean, it's just Ohtani. It's getting to the point now where I always say with Steph, he normalizes greatness. It's normal. It's not even great when Steph does it because he's done it so many times. We're already getting to that point with Ohtani, where Ohtani does something, you're just like, oh, it's Ohtani. Yeah, Ohtani. And like, it doesn't sink in because it's already sunk in. You're already oversaturated with Ohtani stuff. He's been around forever. Look, I've known this for a long time. There's no one else. I won't say no one else knew, but he didn't get covered because he was with the Angels. Why would you give a shit about the Angels? You wouldn't. No, you shouldn't. I do. You shouldn't. But nobody really cared. Every once in a while, I'd be like, oh, look what Ohtani did. Home run, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. Angels lose. Now it's the Dodgers. The Dodgers are winning a lot more pub. But again, I've seen it a long time, so I feel like already I take his greatness for granted. Like, he does incredible things. That's Ohtani. Yeah, that's Ohtani. And nobody else. Literally nobody else in the history of the game. Nobody. If I'm not mistaken, Babe Ruth pitched and hit at separate times. I don't think Babe Ruth was out there pitching and hitting at the same time. So It's really is remarkable. You almost have to remind yourself like what we're seeing is not normal, and we may never see it ever again. Ever again. That's a possibility. Okay, maybe another 100 years till somebody like him comes around. So anyway, so here's a question I wanted to ask everybody. If you guys are still there, looks like a lot of you are. Lunch today. I smoked the pork. Told you guys, smoker's right over there. So I smoked the pork. Turned out incredible. It was really nice. So had some pork tacos last night. So it's pork, cilantro, salsa, chopped up some onions, sour cream if you wanted it. What else? Cojita cheese. I love cojita cheese. Although every single time I use the grater, it's like you grab the cheese like this and you do the kind of like one of these, or you grab it like this and do this one. It's the worst when you scrape your knuckle on the grater. Oh, come on. Because you're trying to get down to that nub, right? You're like, and then it's just all it takes is ooh, ooh, And then the worst part is, it's like not just that you went, it's like, oh no, I got blood on the cheese now. You're like, son of a bitch. Think anybody's gonna notice? I don't want to waste the cheese, so I just kind of put the blood in the middle and pile the other cheese on top, and just it's just a little bit. It's not that big a deal. It looks like somebody put Cholula, like a little drop of Cholula, on there. So I don't make a big deal out of it. I mean, I'll eat most of it in my taco. What section of that? I got a pork butt, a pork buttocks is what I got. It wasn't that big, 5 pounds. Took me about 3.5 hours to smoke it. Did it on Saturday. And then here's what I found out. I found this out because I was gonna shred it. Dude, I got these incredible shredders. These things are awesome. In fact, hang tight for like 15 seconds. I got to show you these things. These things are badass. Okay. So these things are what I have when I have like meat that I want to shred. These things are incredible. I mean, I'm fucking Wolverine. If someone breaks into the house, I'm going, eh. Dude, you're toast. You're toast. And these things are sharp. It's plastic, so it doesn't look. They don't look that sharp, but you can tell. These things got a nice little. Anyway, so yeah, exactly. That's exactly who I am. I mean, not quite as long, not quite as shiny. I got to get on the juice a little bit, but yeah, I love these things. My wife got them for me a few years ago. They are the bear paws, is what they are. I'm not sure who it has the name of the company, but I can't read it. But yeah, so what I do is I'll take the pork out, let it rest a little bit, redistribute the juices, man, and then shred it all up. But we didn't have everybody over for dinner that was coming for dinner on Sunday, so I said I'm going to put it back in the fridge, and then I'll reheat it, and then shred it. So somebody said this is going to get me detained by the PD. Look, fucking Popo ain't coming anywhere near me. You kidding me? Let's go, pig. I got you. So I put it in the oven, and then I took it out, and man, you don't realize how hard it is to shred pork that's not hot. I couldn't shred it. I mean, even the Wolverine talons weren't going to get it done. So I just ended up chopping it up. It was fine. I mean, it still tasted really good, but I wanted to do the shredded pork. Just didn't work out. And I didn't get to use these to their fullest capacity. Like I was kind of doing it, but it's just hard. Like, yeah. So that was a lesson learned. Once it gets cold, it's gonna be harder to pull apart. So I'm gonna pull it apart next time. But yeah, pork's probably the easiest thing to do. I find. I seasoned it in some like cayenne pepper, chili pepper, paprika, salt, pepper, and a couple other things. And then I put it in a bag full of garlic, cilantro, and fresh squeezed orange juice, and just put it in the bag and put it in there overnight, and took it out, dried it off, and then reapplied the rub, and then stuck it in the smoker. I used pecan wood chips. Not that I really wanted to use pecan wood chips. I just couldn't find the other ones that I was looking for. I was like, where are my other wood chips? And I didn't want to use mesquite, because if you use a smoker mesquite, man, you want to talk about smoky. My son made tri-tips, and those were incredible, really good. But mesquite, it tastes like you just took it right out of the campfire, like literally out of the campfire, and ate it. Like it is smoky. So I didn't want to do mesquite back to back, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I should do ribs. I ain't doing brisket. I did brisket once. That's too. I effed that up. So I don't want to do brisket again. So anyway, I had some leftover pork today, and I used some mustard because I like mustard. And it got me to thinking. I'll ask you this before I go: if you could only use one condiment the rest of your life, what would it be? Mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, Cholula, Tabasco, Tapatio, relish. Not even sure exactly what you consider a condiment, but those seem like natural condiments. Like, see, I would go mustard. I'm a huge mustard guy. Mustard on corn dogs. Not that I eat corn dogs a lot. Hot dogs. I can go with mustard on a hamburger, although that's usually ketchup and mustard. Now you're kind of screwed when it comes to fries. Oh well. You're kind of screwed when it comes to potato products. Yeah, sucks. I usually don't have. Although here's the problem now. Here's my biggest problem. And I do use mustard on more things than anything. But when it comes to eggs, I always have Cholula. When it comes to like chili or soup, I always put hot sauce in it. And if I couldn't have hot sauce, man, that would wreck me. That would really hurt. So it would be between like a hot sauce type or mustard. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's really nice. Somebody said A1. You better be eating some bad steaks though. If you're taking a good steak, putting A1 on it, I'm gonna have to come over to your house with these. You don't take a good steak and dump A1 on it. I guess you could do what you want to, I guess. That no problem. But no, for me, not a chance. Tapatio, that's Elisa. Elisa loves Tapatio. She likes hot. Elisa's Walker's lovely bride, my daughter-in-law, my daughter. She likes hot stuff like I do. She likes like red hot, red chili flakes, red pepper chili flakes, and Tapatio and Cholula and stuff like that. I like Tapatio because Tapatio is hot. It's hotter than Cholula, although Cholula I think has a little more flavor than Tapatio. But I mustard and wasabi. I didn't know wasabi. I guess wasabi is a condiment. What else do you use wasabi on? Oh, Louisiana hot sauce, like Crystals. Yeah, but here's the thing with Crystals. I like Crystals. I only use Crystals though when I make gumbo, which I haven't made in a while. Thanks for the idea, Joe. I haven't made gumbo in a while. Maybe I need to make some gumbo. And now if you have gumbo, then you go with Crystals. Because it's just like it's New Orleans. It didn't taste right if you don't go with like you could go with Tapatio if you wanted to. It's not going to kill the dish. It just feels more authentic. It just feels like, okay, this is gumbo, New Orleans. Let's just put it, boom. That's what it's here for, right? You get the recipe, New Orleans hot sauce. That's what it's there for. So, yeah, there are certain things like if I go to a sushi restaurant, what am I going to have? Japanese beer. I'm going to have Asahi. Like I'm not ordering Pacifico with my fire dragon roll. It is not. Would it kill the dish? No, it just wouldn't seem right. And I'm also not having Asahi with a burrito. Not doing that either. And so, but yeah, a hot sauce would be a tough one. Like I knew a guy one time too that used to take wasabi and chew it, like dip it, put it between his cheek and gum, and he put it on the bottom shelf and on the top shelf too. He had 2 shelves of wasabi, and I think he was crying. I think his eyes were watering. Like it was just so hot that and I'm like, do you need attention that bad? Like what are you doing? Why? And then I thought, you know what? I've done stuff like that where it's just like, what an idiot. What an absolute idiot. I'll give you the one. I don't know that I regret this, but it's like the one where you're just like, we've all done things where we're idiots. It was in Tucson, and Steve might have been there for this. I'm not sure. He might not have. I don't know. And we were like in a Coco's late at night, 12 o'clock. Went there for a late night dinner or late night snack. Okay, let's stop by Coco's, grab something to eat. So we stopped by Coco's. Wasabi goes with eggs, fish, turkey, chicken. Does it really? Didn't know that. I didn't know that. Probably not going to try that. Oh yeah, Antonio uses Frank's, puts that shit on everything. They had to use that as a slogan. I like that slogan. Put that shit on everything. I would use it as a slogan. But so we go to Coco's, and we're sitting there waiting for the meal. We ordered, and it's taking forever to come out. And there's hardly anybody there. And there's somebody sitting, like an older gentleman sitting at the booth right behind us or right next to us, however you want to say it. And he's sitting there. And he has a sandwich, like a BLT, looked really good. And he was sitting there like this. And I'm looking around thinking, are we gonna get our sandwiches? We gonna get our food? I'm like hungry and like we're waiting forever. And this was like bad. This is like you want to hit your younger self for doing this. I went and sat down at his booth right across from him. And I just sat there and he was sleeping. And I fucking picked his sandwich up and I ate half his sandwich. So when he woke up, half his sandwich was gone. And I thought that was funny. At the time, I thought it was funny. Like, oh, this is funny. Look, He's going to wake up and half his sandwich is going to be gone, and he's not going to know where it went. Ha 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 he ho he ha. I mean, what a dick! What a dick! I ate got half of his sandwich. I ate, and I want to say I ended up leaving him some money to pay for it, but I'd be lying if I knew that was the truth. It could be. I feel like I want it to be, but I don't know that it is. I don't know that I did that. I might have just walked out. So, we all do stuff like we're just like, are you serious? Like doing that? Like really? You did that? Why would you? That's just. Oh man, that was bad. That was not a very cool, thing to do. Guy's gonna wake up and go, did I eat that? I don't think I ate that. Now, if I'd have been really smart, I'd have taken like a little piece of lettuce and put it on his lip. Then he would have went, oh, must have ate it. Maybe put a little mayonnaise there too. Yeah. You're good. You're good. Oh yeah, you liked it. Oh, you loved it. You loved it. Then you fell off to sleep. you fell, yeah, that was not cool. That was not cool at all. These are cool though. Get yourself a pair it's great stocking stuffers. Great. Just make sure you wrap them like this. You don't want to stick them in the stocking stuffer like this. Somebody reaches, oh, stocking stuffer, great. And like I said, these will cut you. These are these are sharp. Dude, that's a sweet outfit. Look at that get up. What is that? San Diego Padre gear? Brown and gold. We're all good to go. Oh man. Yeah, I took somebody wanted to know if I took the pickle too. I did take the pickle. I love pickles. Pickles are great. Not good, great. As long as they're dill pickles. Sweet pickles, those come right out of the devil's anus. Sweet pickles, no thank you. Dill pickles all day. Sweet pickles, straight garbage is what they are. Straight garbage. All right, I'm gonna get on out of here. I had to bring these out though. Maybe I can do something with these. Something entertaining for the show. I have no idea what that may be. I don't know. I don't know what I could do with these. It might be kind of fun. Maybe if I bring a ball out and just like a volleyball. I like them. I like them. I like them a lot. All right, everybody, have a great day. We'll be back Wednesday again. We'll do a little draft stuff. Not going to do a ton because I just didn't follow enough. Maybe we'll try to find a guest that can help us talk about the draft. And unfortunately, it doesn't relate. The Warriors are involved, so it just doesn't make it quite as fun. But we'll have something for you on Wednesday. I got to get a hold of my guy Drew Amenda. I know he was going to come out around NHL draft time. Theirs is coming up pretty soon too, and I think he's going to be in town for that. And I think he said he would come down. So we'll talk a little Stanley Cup, the Olympics coming, and where the Sharks are headed. And have they turned the corner this year? Or do they need is it another year? I'm not sure. They get another really good player this year, drafting 2 overall. So we'll do that. I want to get a little bit more into college football and find out where that's going with John Wilner. Hopefully at some point we'll get him on. But, we'll have some guests for you, and we'll just keep it light throughout the summer. So everybody have a lovely evening. Go kick some ass, bitches. See ya.